Hello everyone, I am Ajit Jain. Today I am going to talk about how you can handle the CA final international taxation paper 7. Paper 7 is an elective paper. It means you need to select one out of various options. International taxation is a very important subject and it has gained a significant importance in last one decade, not only in India but across the globe. And there's a huge amount of demand of international tax professionals across the globe. Now in this video specifically I'll talk about how to handle this paper in an examination hall, because it is kind of a different paper. It is, if I talk about the key features of this examination, it is a 4 hours examination and it is a open book case study exam. You will be allowed to use books, specified books, and there will be case studies you need to solve. Now, when it comes to a kind of examination which is based on a case study, the approach should not be similar to the exam where we always get a descriptive questions and we need to write a descriptive answers. Case study requires a different kind of approach and different kind of mindset. And what I have heard and what I have observed, that students are making mistakes in dealing this kind of examination by putting a similar approach as they have adopted for other papers. But the approach, as I mentioned, this is a case study based examination, so your approach should be different and your mindset would be different while dealing this exam. Now if I talk specifically about this examination where you are allowed to take books, what my first recommendation would be, don't carry unnecessary books. So if you are carrying various books which you have already prepared, which you have already used for the preparation of this exam, those books should only be carried. And just a week before, if you find some other book or some different content, I would suggest not to carry that book in the examination, because when you write this kind of examination, you should be well aware about what you are using and which paragraph you are using, which chapter you are using while solving those case study. So don't carry the unnecessary books. Carry only those books which are relevant, which you have already studied, which are aware, big books which are aware of in terms of all the chapters, topics, and all the paragraphs. Now this is very important. Once you decide that these are the books which I will carry in my examination, then another point of recommendation is you will get 15 minutes for reading the paper before you get the answer, get the sheet for giving the answers. Now this is very important. How to utilize that 15 minutes is very important. Now this 15 minutes, what I would recommend, that read the case studies, but don't read the entire case studies, because when you have an understanding of the entire international tax subject, you will easily find out quickly that what the case study requirement is. So what I would suggest, quickly read, have a habit of quick reading of a particular case study, and then read the descriptive question first. So there will be descriptive questions where you need to, suppose you need to talk about the arm's length principle, or you need to talk about the advanced pricing agreement. What is the advanced pricing agreement, how it is important in the Indian scenario. So that questions can be easily answered, as compared to a question where you need to apply your logic, apply the overall international tax principle. So read the descriptive questions first, and out of the various case studies, if the descriptive questions, if you feel that in the 6 or 5 case studies, there are 3 case studies where you can easily address the descriptive question, follow that case study, answer that question first. So that 15 minutes is very, very important to read the entire question paper. Now as I mentioned, the approach of reading the question paper as compared to other paper, in this paper would be different, because this is a case study based examination. So you must have a habit of quick reading, quick understanding what is the requirement of case study, and what is the descriptive question is asking about, because in 15 minutes you cannot analyze those questions which requires a logical thinking, which requires understanding from a or evaluation from a provisions perspective, because you need to see the relevant provisions you are allowed to carry exam. So descriptive questions you need to understand and if there are 3 case studies which you can address based on the descriptive questions, then you take those questions first. It will give you more confidence that these are the 3 case studies where are more descriptive questions I can address, and rest of the questions I'll address in the entire process. This is the second recommendation. Third recommendation would be decide on the sequence of the questions to be answered. So as I mentioned, it's the same thing which I am repeating, that you in the 15 minutes you need to decide on the sequence of the questions. If out of the 5 case studies, in the 3 case studies, if you feel that you are very confident in answering the descriptive question, not only descriptive but the multiple choice questions, then follow that order and just answer those questions first. So decision of a particular questions to be answered is very important. That is the third recommendation. Now read questions first and go on the relevant paragraphs. Now this is called a reverse technique, where while you don't need to read the entire case studies first, the moment you read one paragraph, you can go to the questions and see how you can answer that question based on the relevant, because in the case studies there are many paragraphs which are irrelevant, like discussing about the business of a particular entity and all those stuff, which might not be relevant for you to read carefully or spend lot of time in that. So what you can do, apply your logical thinking and read questions and go to the relevant paragraph and then read those relevant questions as well. So this is called a reverse technique. I'm not saying you should use always this reverse technique in each of those questions, but wherever you can apply these techniques, this will give you a confidence that you can address address the questions based on your reading on the go. And then the last recommendation would be practice the case studies. Practice as much as possible. Practice case study before the examination, because when you are given a particular case study, international tax or transfer pricing, you need a practice because case studies can come out from anything. Like in a particular case study, you will be asked question on transfer pricing as well as on permanent establishment. So just understanding the laws and regulations and provisions will not be helpful. You need to have a practice understanding of the entire concepts of international taxation, not only from a independent chapter perspective, but you need to have a holistic understanding of the concept. So practice is important. Whichever book you follow, whichever content material you follow, you need to have a good practice, and that's how you can follow the approach in the examination. So the fundamental point I wanted to explain here in this video is basically, in this kind of examination, it's very important to have a conceptual understanding of the international tax or cross-border taxation, and then it is very important to understand the overall structure of the paper, that you cannot have a similar mindset of a case study based paper vis-a-vis a paper which is only descriptive. So when it comes to a case study paper, you need to have a solution oriented mind, which more talks about solution, more talks about approach, rather than putting everything, incorporating everything what you know in the paper. So it is a solution oriented paper. You need to keep in mind that putting a lot of things in the paper will not help you. You need to provide a solution. If you are given a study or a question on transfer pricing, you need to reverse think that how can I solve this rather than how can I answer this. So this is all from this video, and hope this video is helpful, and all the best for your examination. Thank you.